Alright, your maintenance handbook on dynamic braking resistors and motors, Camtech, March 2003. Chapter 2, Maintenance Periodic Schedule for the Dynamic Braking Resistor I8, IB, IC, AHO, IOH. Periodic Schedule to be carried out. Maintenance Dynamic Braking Resistor indicating negative work not to be done, asterisk work to be done. The NVRF, the check the brush size, the unsafe limit of the 20 millimeters. IAB, IC, work not to be done. AOH and IOH, work to be done. Check connection tightness. IA and IB, work not to be done. IC, AOH and IOH, work to be done. Check spring with brushes. Holder 566 GM. IB and IC work not to be done. IC, OH, IOH, work to be done. Moving the brush down with a several time the brush and hold the relief of the carbon dust. IB, not work not to be done. IC and AOH, IOH, work to be done. Inspector communicator surface, all work to be done. Clearance, check clearance between the brushes, hold of the communicator. IA and IB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, and IOH, work to be done. All covers enclosure, all work to be done. Check IR armature compoles, field coil. The IR should not be less than 0.5 mega ohms. IB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Lubricating bearing with a servo Gem 3 equivalent grease, both ends of the 12 GMS. IB, IC, work not to be done. IOH and IOH, work to be done. Resurface communicator with a validity with exceeds 1.1 millimeters. IB, IC, work not to be done. AOH and IOH, work to be done. Overall MVRF, IB, IC, AOH, work not to be done, and IOH, work to be done. Alright, your magnet valve, the clean valve or out valve sheet with the petroleum overhaul, the check the continuing magnet coil with the insulation resistance. IBA, CAOH, work not to be done. IOH, work to be done. CTF, ensure the provision double roll with the pin with the CTF drum. IAIBIC, work not to be done. AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check U fork roller, replace worn out. IAIBIC, AOH, work not to be done. IOH, and work not to be done. Fission brass roller instead of nylon roller. IABIC, work not to be done. AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check for any leaks, all work to be done. Check contact and contact pressure, main auxiliary contact bleeding. IAIB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check tip the main contactor. IAIB, IC, AOH, work to be not to be done. IOH, work to be done. Check for the shining condition tightness. IA, work not to be done. AIB, IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Mirror main contacts, Vaseline. IAIB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Lubricating servo meters, drum bearings, mirror cam with Vaseline, check free of the movements. IAIB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Replace piston cup. IAIB, IC, work not to be done. AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check piston wear of the lubricating cylinder wall. IAIB, AOH, IOH to be done. Replace piston packing necessary. IAIB, IC, AOH, work not to be done. IOH, work to be done. Check condition of fixed and mobile contacts. All work to be done. Check condition of rubber bucket. IA, work to be done. Work not to be done. IB, IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check proper JCTF. All work to be done. Check all dial pins. Condition for brake. IB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check healthiness U fork of the fixing screw, replacing worn. IAIB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, not to be done. Check condition of rivets, meaning of the fixing ending, bushing flange. IAIB, not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Tighten all nuts and bolts, auxiliary switches. IB, IC, work not to be done. AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check overall shooting manually. IB, work not to be done. IOH, IC, AOH, and IOH, work to be done. Aeridating Allen screws of the contacts. IB, IC, work not to be done. AOH, IOH, work to be done. Overall CTF, IB, IC, AOH, work not to be done. IOH, work to be done. Alright, your ATFX, check then for tightness. The IA, work not to be done. All the rest, work to be done. Clear through side cover the IA and IB, work not to be done. IC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check for overall heatingness. IAB, not to be done. IOC, AOH, IOH, work to be done. Check visually of the base crackness. All work to be done. Remove bottom cover and blow with the dusty, dry crap. Compressed air. IA and IB, work to be done. IC, IAOH, IOH. AOH, work not to be done. Dynamic braking resistor. Alright, next, the following ones. Visually check with the top of the bottom with the abnormality. Check the tightness and nuts of the bolts. Blow out the resistor bank of the dry compressed air socket of the vacuum cleaner. Inspect the resistance for any damage. IA and IB, work not to be done. IC and AOH and IOH, work to be done. Repair defective dynamic braking resistor. All work to be done. Examine insulator of the support and wipe clean with a dry cloth. Check the operating QVRF sucking through the connection pipe. Check for the delamination burning mica insulation boards. Replaces damage. Check cleaning insulation surfaces to avoid tracking flashover and overhaul RF. Checking the flashover. IB and IA and IB not no work to be done. IC, AOH, and IOH, work to be done. Overall, RF, IA, IB, IC, AOH, work not to be done. IOH, work to be done. Your AOH and IOH scheduled dismantling dynamic braking resistor file. The sequence should be filed with a dismantling dynamic braking resistor unit of the locomotive. First, open the hood of the loco below the dynamic braking resistor unit fitted with the underframe. Unscrew the bolt of the dynamic braking base to the locomotive floor. Open the power cable to secure it properly before fitting. Put the lifting brackets on the top of the dynamic braking resistor. Lifting by crane. Ensure the outer portal should not be damaged while lifting the dynamic braking resistor. Your unit take out the front of the back cover to dismantle the bus bar connection from the front of the back side. First, open lock nuts and push the front of the back side simultaneously. Remove the insulation pump front side of the carefully take out the resistor grid, stack them on cleaning surface to make the top of the trays the elements separately as they different resistance value with the elements of the other trays. 2.2 examination cleaning of the components resistor elements. 2.2 resistor board box. A resistor board silicon mounted microboard should be cleaned with the removal of any deposit with a soft clean. Check with the resistor box board with the decolorization, degradation, delamination for any of the damage. Replace the damage and burn boards. Electrically intact resistor banks should be cleaned with the removal of the dirt and dust. If required, the same should be washed in forced water jet to remove the sticky particles to be dried. Ensure the element resistor bank should be free of any deformation caused with the overheating, broken ceramic sagging in the grid center over the resistor banks, and ensure the QVRF relay operation provided with the suction side assembly with a dynamic braking resistant unit. Follow the sequence valve of the during the assembly of the dynamic braking resistant unit. Check for any with the crack damage of the insulation plate with the before and reassembly as range of the resistor elements in its line on the per drawing. Four elements at the bottom last of the tray with a push with the slope of the insulate with the plate with the help of the bushes and follow with the sequence over the top of the tray. Lock up the bushes with the help of the lock nut, the contact the bus bar connections as per drawing. Before putting the resistor bank on the top of the blowers, ensure the impeller is moving freely. The blower is covered over the side of the cover. After completing assembly, apply with a suitable sealant to the fill gap of the resistor box on the motor inspection cover. Dismantling MVRF. The dismantling of the motor frame shall be supported with a suitable cradle. Now the dismantling of the fan and shield of the bearing assembly and bearing caps, etc. Following the marking of the ensure the reassembly of the same condition. Removing of the fan with the guide vane. Remove the split pin of the lock nut from the shaft and reset of the fan hub. Withdraw the fan with the tape of the shaft. The UV extractor with the engagement with the internal thread with the fan hub. Remove the guide vane with the unscrewing the hex head and screw. Figure 2.3 show the fan assembly. 4.2 remove the motor fan from housing. Remove the air duct assembly, unscrewing the heat screw from the housing, and screw the M20 hex bolt for the lifting the motor frame from the top. Remove the end shield for the armature bearings. Unscrew the hex head bearing cap screw. Remove the bearing ball caps. Disconnect the bearing gear lead. Lift the brush with the clear of the communicator. Release the end of the shield with the remove the counterstroke with the screw. Withdraw the armature through the either end, but the end camera should be taken out to damage the communicator windings or cores. Move the lock nuts in the shaft without unscrewing the bearings. Pull out the bearings using an extractor. Overhaul the MVR, the armature, the check for the armature damage, allow loose band with the uncoil for the communicator, micro groove, etc. All disassemble the parts, but the machine shall be thoroughly cleaned by the following: dry compressed air vacuum cleaner, any cleaning solvent over the Orion 77. And after ensuring the armature does not require any of the major repair, reconditioning, preheat the armature to 120 to 130 degrees Celsius for 36 hours. Dip in the insulated portion of the armature of the F2000 500 EK varnish post cure with 140 to 160 degrees Celsius for 8 hours. Communicator carry out the pressure check. Determine the communicator is required following the specified procedure blowout with the complete with the armature removed with the copper mica dust paint with the communicator neck groove with the epoxy red anti-tank paint tracking paint. Clean the V-ring with the front communicator check with the contact bar with the bar tap the cord once with the HV drop pattern. Examine the inner and outer race of the bearing and their components. Brush gear. Check the brush gear component with the blister and damage. Check with the brush holder. Spring tension. Check with the brush holder. Insulate the arms if the beer to be good. Subject with a 2 kilovolt AC for the 15 seconds supply. 1 coat with the red anti-tracking paint with the dry. Provide new carbon brushes. Field coil connection. Check with the field coil for the connections or any loose joint. Check with the field coils washer at any sign for the overheating. Ensure the field coils are sound. Check with the tightening all field connection main pole bolted joints. Check with the record of the IR of all field coil or the earth found satisfactory. Check with the magnet frame complete with the field coil seating with the hot. Check with the hot IR. Replace the defective coil with using proper shim to make all the field connections as per diagram. Once again from the top, field coil connection. Check with the field with the connection with any loop of the joints. Check with the field coil wash over the inch down with the overheating to ensure that the field coils are sound. Check with the tightening of all field connection main pole joint. Bolted joint. Check and record with the IR over all the field coil with the earth with the found satisfactory check with the magnetic frame with complete with the field coil with the heating of the check with the IR. Replace with the defective coil with the proper shim to make all the field connections per diagram. With the frame that's still hot, apply with 1 coat with the solvent and with the polisher varnish and all the varnish secure with the conduct of the polarity tip of the trunk coil with the main field coil. Reassemble the MVRF. The reassembly of those should be done with the reverse order of the dismantling found with the points of the given below. All shim and packing the piece of this should be restored with the original position. The pole spacing should be checked to ensure that the gaps between the pole tips are equal in tolerance of plus or minus 0.8 millimeters. All bolted connections should be tightened with the necessary lever that should be tapped together to prevent undue movement. To keep the bearings absolutely clean, the new bearings should not be removed from the wrapping until they are required. For use, the bearing cap should be filled approximately 2/3 with all of grease. Grease should be pressed in the bearing to fill with the space between the races. The bearing seating of the shaft should be free of all dirt, etc. Ensure the bearing is seated accurately with the shaft. Finally, secure the bearing in the lock-up position. Clearing between the brushes should be equally with the space of the tolerance of 0 plus or minus 0.8 millimeters. Now, lower the cleat motor with vertically into the housing. Assembly provided with the M220 bolt to the spring washer. Determine the motor along with the housing upside down with the assembly of the impeller. Balance with the impeller position with the portable balancer. Some of the air duct on the top of the motor. 2-3 Installation instruction. Lifting eyes are provided at the top of the unit with a hauling with the overhead crane, but small D-shackles must be fitted within ensure the cranes hooks or the damage outlet portable. Before any of the attempts is made with the supply of the power resistor unit, the following criteria must be satisfied. The dynamic braking resistor must be perfectly located and fitted in operative with the air intake with a free with a form by to ensure the wire mesh guard with the provided with the fixing location mesh welded into the cone of the QVR with a relay provided with the bottom of the resistor box with a suction nipple with the proper side of the rubber housing. Figure 2 force of the protection device. The following of the instruction of the RDSO TC number 0072 regarding QVRF, the relay connection. The MVRF connections are directly taken from the resistor terminal with the top of the tray. Connect with the unit with the relief plug with the Allen screw should be removed and discarded for the completion of the installation. Ensure all power connections are correct with the polarity observed with the cable to terminate with the terminal bar as follows. Ensure airflow devices are wired controlled with the circuit and disconnect the dynamic braking resistor and vent with the loss of the airflow. Connect with the wire over the temperature control device if any with the respective circuit. With the 9, the airflow must be through the resistor outlet with the top of the resistor box open in the locomotive roof. Alright, Chapter 3, Common Causes and Problems and Remedy, Troubleshooting the blower motor. Motor does not start with the cause. Open circuit with a check with the remedy for the location. Open circuit with a reconnect for the connection label. The cable with it broken and covered with the winding open and with the circuit replaced for the motor. Motor does not start. Proper cause. Incorrect connections. Correct the connections. Undue overloading. Locked rotor condition. Check with the driving equipment. Problem. Incorrect motor speed. Incorrect connections. Cause. And correct the connection as per drawing. Motor problem. Low insulation resistant earth fault with the cause. Damaged insulation, dirty windings, or decay insulation, tendon repair. Alright, problem. Bad communication, sparks and brushes. Incorrect brush position, reset the brush in correct position. Worn out brushes, checking of the brush and specified quality. Uneven bedding of the brush. Bed the brushes properly. Brush if they do not slide freely. And the brush holder, make the brushes slide freely. Brush pressure is too low. The replace for the brush spring. Brush pressure is too high. Adjust the pressure. Noisy bearing. Call the bearing or damaged dry chain of the bearings. Motor too hot, inadequate ventilation, check for cooling, and motor too hot, short circuit of the field windings, replace the motor. Alright, dudes, ensure all air intake of the should be free of the foreign body, but ensure all power connection with the intact leaf-thing hose to be removed with the top of the air, fixing with the dynamic resistance unit with the loco, same to be fixed with the bottom portion of the resistor bank. Mesh guard fixed with the bottom portion of the dynamic braking resistor unit before the fitting of the dynamic resistor unit on the loco. Alright, dudes, ensure the air tank should be free of the foreign body, but ensure all power connection intact. Lifting over the remove at the top of the axle for the dynamic braking resistor unit locomotive same to be fixed with the bottom portion of the resistor bank. Mesh guard fixed with the bottom portion of the dynamic braking resistor up to the remove from the fitting dynamic braking resistor unit of the locomotive. Provide a 10mm thick with a neoprene gasket over the fixing of the hole for the locomotive floor. Power of the resistor must be removed with the immediately event of the over temperature of the airflow failure. The assembly of the repair is done with a technically qualified skilled personnel. Restrict the overlighting and resistor elements. Ensure the current and care path of the voltage grade with the current capacity and power cable to ensure the working of the QVRF on the dynamic braking resistor, QF and QE relays. Ensure regulatory calibration QF and QE relays. Cable resistance also takes to be taken into account. Check insulation resistance on the motor before putting it in operation after overhaul and repair. Ensure the proper flow of the cooling air ventilation opening. They must be cleaned. Ensure the implementation MS, SMI, and TC issued by the RDSO. Using the vacuum cleaner instead of cleaning of the carbon dust, vacuum cleaner or cleaning over the carbon dust instead of the motor inside of the blowing, drying, compressed air. Ensure the provisions CTF and N-O interlocking MVRF and circuit design positive side. Don't. Do not distribute the OVRF settings. Set the value with a negative 12 plus or minus 2 millimeters WC. Do not clean with a hard wire brush or file. Do not apply any resin varnish board on the dynamic bracing resistor. Do not reuse the lock washer or oil seal felt packing and replace them with new ones. Do not do any modification without approval of the component authority. Do not bypass the protection devices provided in the dynamic resistor circuit. Do not mix up the elements of the top tray with elements to other trays. Do not use the dynamic braking. If any of the traction motor is isolated, working the ECC or MVRF not working, relay Q58. Q50 is wedged. Do not operate SA9 under any circumstances while working with the dynamic braking resistor. Alright, testing solenoids, method of screening coil and manufacturer defects, altering connection, dynamic braking resistor, ABHEL, condition monitoring, solenoid surgery comparison method, 5 modified arrangement, air inlet wire mesh fitted with the underbreath of the MBHEL, dynamic braking resistor, head horizontally mounted on blower mounter. Revision visual indicated function blower with the EATOM make of the dynamic brake equipment replacement of the grease bearing seal bearing on the Don driving and blowing mower EATOM make of the dynamic braking resistor. Only train brakes are permitted in conjunction with the dynamic braking resistor. Duct extension, inlet cone arrangement, locomotive filled with a high capacity dynamic braking resistor. Modification dynamic braking resistor circuit prevented with the C145 contactor snap action through the avoiding circuit indicated with the dynamic braking resistor cut off. Optimization performance of the vertical dynamic braking resistor provision, vertical dynamic braking resistor WAP and through NWA41 non-modular locomotive modification QRS relay feeding with a circuit that prevent with the energization during blending of the air brakes through A9. Modification MVRF, the circuit is non-modular with a WAG locomotive. And references. This has been a reading for Maintenance Handbook, Dynamic Braking Resistor and Motor, Camtech, March 2003.